It could use a cover, some kind of screen material, metal, if I was going to go fancy. Can you see the T-top? Hang on a second, guys. I'm going to put this up just slightly. There's the T-top. Those T's are my two tweeters. I did angle. I did a flat one at the top, hoping that that would reflect off ceilings. I used a flat block mounting block with a circle cut in it from a 1x on the bottom speaker. And then I used angle, 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 flat one. That was my final. So, what I learned about this stuff is tough. You got to figure out your ohms. Now, I figured it out two different ways. One was my lower stack could be 3.2 ohms because I had all 4 ohm speakers. I metered these speakers, they came out 3.5 ohms. Anything from 3 ohms to 3.5 with a meter is really a 4 ohm speaker. Found a website that told me that. Bless them. I saw the information on more than one website, by the way, eventually. My bottom stack could be 3.2 ohms and my top stack could be 3.2 ohms. If I wired them a certain way, that would make a 6 ohm system. Instead, I went with a 8 ohm bottom and 8 ohm top, and I wired them in parallel, which should give me, I believe, yes, in parallel, which gave me a 4 ohm system. I gained 3 to 6 dB of extra volume out of that, and most DJ power amps are rigged for 4 ohms. I did a good old 1/4 inch jack out of this guy. A male 1/4 inch jack. My secondary stack has a female on it. The two just plug together and instantly this becomes from 8 ohms, it goes directly up to 4 ohms on the box. My bottom, just a 1/4 inch female, that's all. So I can run a guitar cable from the amp directly over, boom, I'm in. On my top tweeter, I ran a line out to an RCA. RCA connector with a male-female adapter connects to another wire coming out. The reason I use piezo so that they don't change my ohms. I didn't add a crossover. I didn't add nothing. I also figured out that 2 piezos should be just about right for all those mid-range drivers. Should be the right balance. All I'm really looking for is the sizzle of the hi-hat back. To do this, I drove myself nuts. Quite a bit. I drew drawings. I drew calculations and more drawings. I did more drawings and I looked at websites. Here's what I finally learned, and this stuff can help you. All the drawings show this. Okay? Each one of these speakers that's hooked together, pause to neg, pause to neg. Each time they've done that, pause to neg, this whole group of 4 becomes one speaker when you're talking about the ohms. You just add them up. So that becomes one speaker. This, when it comes to ohms in the circle, becomes one speaker. My problem is I'm doing a linear array. So I needed to revisualize this thing. I couldn't get that around my head when I was going up a stack. So, here's what I did. I made that into that. That's the same wiring as this guy. The 2 red circle parts, okay, are the same. This group is the same as that group. I just did them in a line array so I could go up and down with them, and I could calculate them. All 4 of these speakers, the way they're presently rigged, are rigged in such a way that they're 4 ohms plus 4 ohms plus 4 ohms plus 4 ohms. When I put the next group on it, it becomes 4 ohms plus 4 ohms plus 4 ohms, but then that second group subtracts off the first one to give me my 8 ohm enclosure. So, 1/2 stack equaled this on a 4 ohm system. Every speaker was 4 ohms. This group was added together, this group was added together, and then the two subtracted from each other, making this one's value half of that one's value to give me a 8 ohm system. I then add the second stack on top, wired parallel, and when I did, that dropped my ohmage from 8 ohms down to 4 ohms for the whole entire enclosure. The piezo's meant I didn't have to worry about crossovers. The piezo's meant I didn't have to change the ohmage or calculate them in. If I find that those 2 tweeters are not enough, I can add more. It doesn't matter. Who helped me? Good heavens. God bless the websites, my friends, because they help lots. With all this calculation craziness, excuse me, I did a lot of math. Math I hadn't done in a long time. I ended up with essentially that look. These are the websites that helped me. I found 2 ohms calculators out there. Okay, the top one seemed to work best for me and easiest for me to understand. The second one double checked my work. The math formulas I got from this guy at this website. Wiring 2 cabinets together. This is what told me what my ohms when I wired the first cab, the top cab to the bottom cab, were going to come out, and made sure that I configured my wires correctly. This guy helped a lot because he was doing it for PA systems. To calculate my stuff, I used a rack set of formula. If you're going to use the math to double check your work, on a 4 ohm, every speaker is 4 ohm. I ran one 4 ohm speaker equals a certain mathematical value. Okay? And I ran them 1 through 8. 8 speakers in a line will equal 32 ohms. No amplifier can drive that. You need these speakers, whatever you build, to be between 4 and 8 ohms total. That's it. The sound. The final sound from my $2 a piece speakers, my, what is it, $4 a piece piezos, is remarkably good. There is a remarkable effect to this linear array stuff. Here, the sound is loud but not overpowering because I'm only really getting these to my ears. When I move to here, to the side, amazingly, I only seemingly lose about 3 dB by moving to the side. My effective loud range to these is a pattern that's like this wide. It's amazing. By angling the speakers, I was surprised. Now, Bose in their old 802s and their 902s had done flat EQ in the middle. They had boosted the high end to try to make up for that sizzle from the hi-hat. Hopefully I've taken care of that with my piezo tweeters, my cheapos. Bose on the low end had typically shelf racked. What they did was at 400, 600 ohms, they just kind of boosted everything from there down into the low end. Boosted everything and hoped that compensated. Even Bose learned you've got to have a subwoofer. I already have a 12-inch speaker. I just use it as a subwoofer. I just make sure that I cross it over. And in the Bose design, you need to know this. The Bose design, the subs are not 200 ohms down. They're 300 ohms down. I designed my subs when I originally made them to cover from 600 ohms down because I never knew quite where I would think the sweet spot was. Okay, and then I control that with an EQ on my mixing board. Okay, I control what the sub gets, what it hears, and what it puts out. But even Bose used from 300 ohms down in their design on their subwoofer that they added to this package. My subwoofers are 12. They should kick harder than Bose's subwoofers. I got an amp that runs these subwoofers on a pair. I got another amp that runs the pair of each stick. I'll